It's essential now that we really engage our young people in not just the food that they have in front of them, but the story of that food, the provenance of that food, the systems that have made it. It's essential now that we really engage our young people in not just the food that they have in front of them, be it food that they have in front of them to make a recipe in school or the food that they're just about to eat, but the story of that food, the provenance of that food, the systems that have made it. And you can do that in very simple ways. You can take 2 apples, one of which is grown locally in an orchard, maybe from an organic farm, and another which has come from the other side of the world. And from those 2 apples, you can have a fascinating story and conversation, and you can build out learning in lots of different ways. You can explore food miles, you can look at nutritious content, you can cross-section them and look at the geometry of the 5-petaled flower shape that sits within the cross-section of an apple. And you can do all sorts of maths around weighing and estimating and so on. So you can start from a very simple basis, you can build out, I suppose, this whole idea of inquiry around, so what do we want to find out here? And at the end of it, what do we think about the idea of eating an apple that comes from down the road versus an apple that comes from the other side of the world? Now, if you ask a question, you're not telling your students what to think. You're opening up a conversation to hopefully get them to see that things are not always straightforward. They might have complexity, and that's actually important to know. But then from that thinking process, they become more considered as consumers, and they start to think a bit more about the choices they make, for example, with food.